even trimmed my beard just for you today, my guy. This will look
Oh,
good,
dude,
right?
seriously.
This will look
I
good,
mean, I
right?
used my Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0 about a few days ago, so
Am I hearing a sponsorship?
I hope so, man. That thing's fucking awesome.
Dude, I kind of want to buy one. Not gonna lie, because the one I have is like does the job good, but you
Dude,
know,
do the bundle to where it's like $90, but you get the lawnmower, you get the boxer briefs that are like the most comfortable ones I have. The ball deodorant, and then there's like a ball
ooh,
spray for like it's kind of
oh,
like a cologne.
for less chafing or something like that.
That yeah. And then if like you just want to go on the go and
Yeah,
you don't feel like you're refreshing enough, you just
yeah,
do the little tss, and then you're good.
nice, not
90
bad.
bucks, dude, so worth it. So
Obviously.
worth it. No cuts on it too when you're shaving. Oh my god.
Oh my god, bro. All right,
Manscaped,
sponsor me.
the official lawnmower of the Bubble Sports Podcast.
Woo! It's the boy, Bubba, let's coming through. Hella clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba, let's. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me who's
Welcome
the
back,
GOAT. I'll tell
Bubba
you
Bunch,
who's
to
not.
another edition of the Bubble Sports Podcast. I promised you guys this episode after the amazing news that came out yesterday. And we're joined by Kevin once again, our NFL expert, according to the Bubba Bunch, along with the other expert, myself.
Yes, sir. I like to have that title. I take
Hey,
it.
there you go, man. Hey, you take it as is. Esports legend as well, Kevin.
Thank you. Yes.
Cryptic on Twitter and
On Twitter. That's
on
right.
Instagram.
Yes.
And future host of a esports podcast.
Yes, I have to. Also, another big. I guess I want to make a shout out. Another huge shout out to Gilbert, our boy Gilbert, for
Yes.
allowing me to use his webcam for so long because my lazy ass hasn't bought a webcam yet. But that'll change soon this week. It will change soon this week. So, if anything, my appearances have been all based on him. So,
There
big
you
shout
go.
out.
We appreciate him on this podcast.
Yes, we do.
Strong member of the Bubba Bunch for sure.
Oh, big strong member. Yes.
sir. Today, it's a very special day.
It is.
Patty
It really
Mahomes, daddy himself from Texas Tech,
Mm-hmm.
close to home here in the DFW area.
Yeah.
Man got paid.
Oh, paid isn't even. My man got generational money. We'll leave it at that because
He's like Scrooge McDuckin. He's Scrooge McDuckin. Like, he is swimming in dollar bills.
dude, just we'll get into it, but yeah,
We'll definitely get into it.
yeah,
So ultimately, he signs the most lucrative deal in NFL history and in sports history for sure. And
Yeah.
one of the longest term contract we've ever seen in the NFL. An
Yeah.
extension which now includes 12 years, and it could be, and that's very important. It could be a
yeah.
total of over $502 million, $500 million.
Can you imagine $500 million, like potential $500 million if you? Oh man,
Here's
it's
the
crazy.
thing,
It's
though.
crazy.
Like, I thought about this last night when I was just like thinking about the numbers, because it's that big of a deal.
Mhm.
Is that he's going to get close to that. He's going to get close to $500
Oh,
million
yeah. Yeah,
in just that deal. Think about how much money he gets from endorsement deals now.
oh my god,
Like,
yeah.
I think he signed with Nike. Either it's Nike or Adidas.
I think so. Yeah. Well, it might be Adidas because Adidas has recently been stacking up quarterbacks like Dak Prescott. I think they were. I think. Yeah. I think they were. I think they were talking like Jared Goff as well. I don't remember for sure, but yeah, it might be Adidas or Nike.
I mean, like, I know he's with State Farm because he does the
Mhm.
commercials with Aaron Rodgers. So
Yeah.
that's millions of dollars right there.
Oh,
like,
for
straight
sure.
up. And then I'm looking up endorsements. Let me see here.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Because I mean, like, because that was a good example. Because like Dak Prescott like hasn't like gotten his full contract yet, but I think it came out last year that he's making well over like $200 million just off of endorsements.
Oh yeah, I mean Dax. I mean he's getting that fucking, what is it? That Yo Play yogurt money.
Yo Play money. That what is it?
Chobani or whatever, or Greek yogurt. I don't know.
No, the mattress one. What is it like? mattress.
Tempur-Pedic?
Tempur-Pedic, is it Tempur-Pedic? I think
Sure,
so.
why not? That's the only one
Something
that
like
comes to
that.
mind.
Yeah, it's Tempur-Pedic, and then Adidas as well. Like he's getting
Yeah.
mad money.
Patty's with Adidas. He signed in 2017.
Oh, so he did go Adidas.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
nice.
also with Oakley, State Farm, DirecTV,
Oakley. That's right.
Essentia Water. Oh,
Not bad.
There's gotta be at least 500 mil in that.
Oh, for sure.
Has to
Absolutely.
be.
Yeah.
So this man is worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
At
for
least.
Sure.
But
yeah.
okay, so here's where we get into the contract details because we were talking about this right before we started this podcast. Because when you look at the numbers, when you look at this contract and you're saying this is going to blow the Chiefs out of competition, like they're not going to have a team. They're literally just going to have Patrick Mahomes on the field and that's it. Like Andy Reid, just do your work with Patrick Mahomes. He could probably do it because it's Patrick Mahomes.
I mean,
when you talk about this contract, this is one of those contracts when you look at it, even if you don't know anything about it or you do, when you look at the numbers and how it's broken down, either way, I think every fan, every person that has watched Patrick Mahomes play will say that is worth that contract. That man is definitely worth that contract. For months and for close to a year now, we've been talking about this on this podcast. I've been talking to you about this because we've had so many guys that are they worth that contract? Dak is obviously that first one that comes to mind, and we'll get to that. Yeah. But like when it comes down to it, Patrick Mahomes was kind of the standard. Is that when that man gets paid, everybody else is fucked. Every other team has to get that type of number or close to that number if they want a franchise quarterback because that is the standard. You know that is the ceiling. And everyone else is trying to get to that ceiling.
Yeah, and so I read this article specifically yesterday too. I think it was Adam Schefter talking about it or something like that. He was saying, so now that Patrick Mahomes is the bar, $45 million guaranteed a year, basically, right? And I think he even made a joke. He was all like, "Well, now that $40 million for Dak is possible, And now, granted, do I think he's worth $40 million? That's debatable, but in general, like other people, like for example, like Russell Wilson, he's worth $40 million a year, in my opinion. Russell Wilson is way worth that $40 million a year. Deshaun Watson, I feel bad for him. He's on a horrific,
terrible situation.
But
he would deserve that money for me.
He would deserve that money. Yes, absolutely. Lamar Jackson, when his rookie contract is up in 2 years as well, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2 years. If he continues playing like he did this year, oh, absolutely, he's worth $40 million. So now, I wouldn't say that. Well, I guess I could say that this deal kind of destroyed the market, but eventually it was going to get to that point. It was just I think how you said it yesterday. It was a matter of time. When was it going to happen?
Because you got to think about it. He's still that extension and that contract that really blows everybody's mind doesn't start for another 2 years. Next year, dude, he only takes a $5 million cap hit in this following season.
Yeah.
And he's gonna make a base salary of less than $1 million next year?
Yeah, it's $825,000 base salary.
But at the same time, for just signing this contract, he's getting over $63 million in guaranteed money. Yeah. That doesn't make sense. So this whole contract, this is the reason why we keep saying oh, this guy deserves this money. This guy maybe not. This guy, yes. Right now, the whole conversation about Deshaun, about Dak, about Lamar, this was pre-Patrick Mahomes era, big contract. We had another 2 years, in my opinion, before we could say, oh, okay, until Patrick Mahomes makes that money, that's when other quarterbacks will make that money.
Yeah.
Because it's still broken at this point as far as the market. But at least there was some salvage of Dak not getting $40 million. He was getting $35 million, and that's what the Cowboys offered to him. But now when it's just it's just out there, whereas Patrick Mahomes will make this amount of money. He's making $45 million average a year just in the base salary. Yeah. Now everybody else is going to be well, I mean, we're just going to start going to that trend anymore because no one's going to want to just get on a team and get a base salary of $20 million, $25 million.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, especially when we're talking about franchise quarterbacks. I mean, if we end up signing Dak in what's today? July 7th? in the next 8 days. I think it was July 15th, right, or something like that.
July 15th.
So if we end up signing Dak in the next 8 days, which from the way it's looking, I don't think it's going to happen.
Nope.
But if for some whatever reason there's a miracle on this earth that it does happen, I would honestly would not be surprised if we see $35 million, if we see $36 million. Let's say Russell Wilson gets signed next year. I would not be surprised. Like I said, if I see $41 million, because in my opinion, Russell Wilson, he is the Seahawks. Like, that's just my
they
view.
wouldn't be who they are without him.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson, same thing. I just think that now everything's gonna flip on its head depending when it comes to quarterbacks. Now, who is it gonna be the next couple of years besides those four that we just named? I don't know. Maybe Joe turns around Cincinnati. Maybe Tua turns around Miami. Who knows? But this is like you always hear the term like inflation in like the NFL when it comes to quarterback market. This is inflation beyond like anything we would have ever suspected, because 45 million a year, 503 million like incentivized, and possibly if he does everything right, which I mean by his talent he probably can get those 500 million. It's insane. I'm just, the next contract, I don't think it could get any, well, it probably can, but I don't know if it could get any bigger than that in the next couple of years.
It's gotta be. It's so hard because Patrick Mahomes is such a generational talent. Like, he is probably the most athletic and most talented quarterback that I've ever seen. Not to say he's the greatest quarterback I've ever seen, but
of course,
the way that it's going at 24 years old, and him coming out after the Super Bowl and saying, I barely learned how to read coverages this year. So he's just based on instinct and based on what he's learned since he started playing football. And it's all just amazing to watch. And yet he doesn't know how to play the game of football. Like, he doesn't know the X's and O's yet. I bet he does, like, in general, but, like, small little things that, like, Tom Brady knows now, that Aaron Rodgers knows now, Drew Brees, like, he's still not yet there, which is ridiculous. So with a generational talent like him, this is where we get into the conversation of like how this contract makes a lot of sense. And
it makes so much sense. Now that we understand it, it makes so much sense.
It makes a whole lot of sense, especially with the word you just said, inflation. Like right now, if we look at the window that the Chiefs have to win a Super Bowl, it's like, let's say for another 3, 4, 5 years. And until like year 3 of this extension, that's when you start to get the hit of Patrick Mahomes' contract. Even then, it's not as tough as it will be down the road in the late 20s.
Not even
in this
close.
decade. Because that's when it's really going to impact the Chiefs a lot. But by then, I think they'll have a good understanding of what they need to do with the contract, restructuring other contracts. But inflation, we're talking about a growing business of the NFL that just like boosted up that salary cap based on the players' agreement. So why not in 5, 6, 7 years we see the NFL grow in revenue even more to where now it's a worldwide sport, and by then they're making 10 times what they're making now, and by then the Patrick Mahomes deal looks normal like how it does today for like a Jared Goff deal.
Yeah, and also like this deal, like we were talking about this before, like this deal, like like the language of the deal makes it seem like you were saying earlier that the Chiefs are messed up. But like, if you actually look at the details, like for example, like 2020, like this year, 2020 and 2021, he's still going to be under $1 million in base salary.
Yeah.
So, if the Chiefs continue this run like they did last year, that's potentially 2 more Super Bowls right there.
Yeah. With the roster they have now, definitely.
Yeah, potentially is the biggest key word. I'm going to leave it at that for the rest of the podcast because, obviously we don't see the future. So, but still, 2020 and 2021 is under $1 million. Now, 2022 is when he finally reaches over $1 million in base salary, but it's like by 500,000. So he has 1.5 million in his base salary. He has a $2 million signing bonus and then a 27.4 million roster bonus. That's still not a lot. $31 million in the cap hit. They can still have a good amount of money to, either, free agency or like structure some other contracts to buy to like maybe like we were talking about earlier, maybe put Tyreek Hill under another contract, maybe put Travis Kelce under another contract. If Edwards Helaire ends up being a good pick, maybe they can sign him in the next 3 to 4 years when his contract is over. The play, you could keep talking about players. The point is that they still have a good, like we were saying, up until like 2026 is like the last year where like it's gonna be a hit but not a huge hit. So they basically have what, a total of 7 years, a 7 year window where they can still add players, restructure contracts, get new contract extensions, win Super Bowls, become a dynasty, just become like, basically, I mean, dare I say it, become the next Patriots, but better, I guess, because I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady and Bill Belichick always made the players around them better. This team has talent in general.
Yeah.
They have talent in general. So
It's a different way of looking at a dynasty, if you want to call that right now, with just one Super Bowl, but it's the potential of that dynasty.
It's all potential we're talking about right now.
We're so used to the fact that the Patriots have built a dynasty on the fact that they've restructured every contract and said, we're not going to give you the max. Tom Brady, you are the greatest quarterback that we've ever seen and possibly of all time, but you only make less than what a backup quarterback in New York makes.
Yeah.
But it works because we just put all the things around you that make you better. Like, we give you Julian Edelman. We'll give you Randy Moss 1 year, but still make it on a good contract. We'll give you the best defense in the NFL. As long as you do your job, we're going to be fine. Like, this is just not a place where you're going to make your money. You can do that elsewhere, but we're here to win Super Bowls. And I feel like now we're transitioning into a more type of lucrative and more player-friendly type of organization in the Chiefs, to where you're going to get your money, but you better damn well earn it. Because right now, Patrick Mahomes has earned it. That dude is balling out. So we're going to pay him. And to have that security and safety, even though he's had a few injuries that could be, pretty devastating, like the knee, like dislocated knee, the wrist injuries that he had in college, like, you still have that safety of a franchise quarterback at the elite level for 12 years. 12 years.
Man, 12 years.
But for the Chiefs to be so smart about it and say, look, man, we're going to guarantee you this amount of money. Like, the closest contract we've gone to guaranteed money is 108, 110 with Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. We're going to give you over $162 million guaranteed as long as you're healthy. Like, as long as there's barring no injury. Like, you understand that. Like, if you get injured, it's a business. It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But we're still going to give you that amount of money. And it's a huge jump percentage-wise from what we've seen in the past. So it's a win-win. Like, either way. Of course you're going to take a salary hit cap. Like,
you have to. Yeah.
You're going to do it.
There's no going around it.
This is the NFL nowadays. Like, you can't be cheap when it comes to this. And, like, with other teams that are scared to spend that money, to go with that investment, well, that's one of the reasons why you're not balling out. Not the reason why you're like you're making it far into the playoffs, because you're not taking those chances, man. And for the Chiefs to take these chances, it's what Andy Reid is all about. He takes these chances. So when you have this organization that is just well ran, like the way that the Chiefs are, and they have an understanding of, like, look, you got to understand where we're coming from. Put yourself in our shoes, and I'll put in yours, because you're gonna make money no matter what. But we got to be smart about it. And for 12 years, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and also, like, I mean, I don't know. Besides that injury you were talking about, is Patrick Mahomes even a risk? Look at him.
He's not a
He's
risk.
a god. My man is a god. If anything, he's probably the safest thing we've ever seen in the NFL. I mean, you name someone better than him right now. You can't. You just can't.
You can't.
I mean, if you want to make an argument for Lamar's dynamic.
Lamar
he's
is
great.
He's in his own tier because he has so much to work on. He has so much to improve on. While Patrick Mahomes is like, you know what you're getting. You know for a fact that he can throw 80 yards down the field, or he can run 80 yards down the field.
His talent is just it's it's from another world, dude. Like it's insane. Like I said, like you can make an argument for Lamar, say that he's dynamic, say that he has such an upside when it comes to potential. But you just look at Patrick Mahomes and my man, ask him to do something and he'll do it without even like straining himself. It's insane. He's so good. He's so talented. He deserves everything that's coming to him. I mean,
Yes.
somebody that says, that like that guy that you were arguing with on Twitter yesterday. I don't understand people like that. People that are trying to make an argument that this contract is fool worthy and it's like it's risky because of Mahomes. Like I said, besides the injury, please tell me why you think that, because you're wrong. I don't see how you can say that Patrick Mahomes is not worth this much money and that he's a risk, quote unquote.
Especially with the amount of risk taking and the amount of failures that have happened in the draft by taking a first round quarterback. There are more than plenty of failures rather than successes in round one. Patrick Mahomes is one of them. Patrick Mahomes is a guarantee. Like, yes, he was the perfect pick. Deshaun Watson in the same draft. Like, that was a guarantee. But you can look at Mitch Trubisky that came up before those guys.
Who?
He was drafted before them. You look at guys like Josh Allen, Sam Darnold. I'm not saying they're a bust, but in my opinion, they are never going to be at a level close to Patrick Mahomes, even though they're around the same tier as far as when they were drafted or around the same time. So to guarantee that you will have a quarterback of that caliber for 12 years and maybe have him for Andy Reid for another 12 years, like, you're going to have a good time in Kansas City. You're going to make the money there. You're going to have a blast. You're going to enjoy watching them. And you're going to have the potential of seeing a Hall of Fame quarterback potentially for the next 12 years in one uniform. Like, it's going to be fun to watch. It's just the cautiousness and the, like, kind of the fear of people saying that's a lot of money to invest in one player, but there's just no guarantee that you will go into the draft next year and look at Trevor Lawrence, look at, I don't know, like another Tua, like his brother that's going to be in college this year. Like, you can't guarantee that. Like, you can't just say, like, oh yeah, for sure that's going to be our guy for the next 10 years. Not every team can have that win, that success.
That's why we've been using the word, and like everybody is using the word, like, just it's a generational thing. Like, like when you think of Patrick Mahomes, who was the Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes? Brett Favre. Brett Favre back in the day was considered, probably the best quarterback like to ever, play the game, because, he was just so talented. He was amazing. Obviously I understand that, Tom Brady has the actual, accolades to prove that he has been the best quarterback for a long time. But talent wise, if you were to put Brett Favre and Tom Brady together, I mean,
Brett Favre is the more athletic guy.
Exactly.
That's the whole difference. My point is that Brett Favre was a gunslinger, and that's what I see in Patrick Mahomes.
Everybody
man
does.
just does anything he wants. He
and it happens. It happens. Yeah.
It's just built for him. Like, the game is built around him.
This is his league, and there's nothing we can do about it. Just because he can run it however way he wants.
He's a Madden cheat code. That's what he is.
He really is.
That's what he is. He broke the Madden curse. Like, like he beat the curse. Like, no player can really do that.
Yeah.
So,
oh man.
Like, you can throw all this money around and say, like, oh, that's a bad deal. Like, that's way too much money. I'm seeing until 2027 to where that argument is valid, and I think by then they'll figure it out. The NFL will have way more money to give to the salary cap, and like $59 million, close to $60 million in a cap hit for Mahomes in 2027. Look, by then, if you have 2 or 3 more Super Bowls, I don't give a shit what the fuck you do. I don't care how much you pay him. I'd rather have that happen than to go another 20 years as a Cowboys fan, as a Chiefs fan, whatever fan you are of a team, and say we haven't won a Super Bowl because we just never took that chance. We let that player go.
So now I guess this is where we start talking about, all the implications. of what this is going to bring up with.
Jesus Christ, man. Well, like the fucking incentive that I think the only incentives that we really have to talk about is to get him to that $502 million dollars. Before we get into Dak, because I know that's where you were going.
Yeah.
But the last thing we'll talk about with Patrick Mahomes, because we think it's worth it. We think it's a good deal, and Absolutely. It makes sense. It's spread out to a T, to where it makes sense, and it's gonna be a hit. But at this point, you just got to take it. But if Patrick Mahomes wants to make over $500 million in this contract, he needs to, for the next decade, he needs to be the MVP every year, because he'll gain like another $1.25 million.
What? Yeah, 1.30 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. He has to win MVP every year, and he needs to get them to the Super Bowl. He doesn't have to win. He just has to get them to the Super Bowl for a full decade.
I mean, that window we were talking about earlier of up to like 2026,
half
with the talent that they have right now, if they keep the talent, I mean if they're smart enough to make a deal like this, I'm very, very sure they're capable enough to make very smart deals with all their players. Hey man,
at least
I could see it happening.
At least half of that guarantee could really happen.
I could see it happening, dude. In the next 7 years, I could really see the Chiefs winning 3-4 Super Bowls. I mean,
I wouldn't go that far.
3-4. Well, 4 is a little stretching it. 3, I could still see it. I get your point.
2. Like, I'm confident in 2.
I could see 3.
I could see 3.
Yeah, 4 might be a stretching. I do agree with you a little bit, but those 2, 3, I could see it. I could see it.
And this is another point that I forgot to mention, is that we get really excited on just like watching Patrick Mahomes and seeing him play at that caliber, and seeing him the day after he signs his contract at 7 a.m. working out at a training facility, and they ask him like, "Well, you're paid, right? Like, what are you gonna do now?" He's like, "I still got rings to win. Like, the job's not done." Like, that mentality is fun. He's so mature for sounding like a guy that sounds like Kermit the Frog. Like, the man has a baby face, but he literally took that locker room and said, "This is my locker room." But he didn't do it in a very like selfish way. Like, he's humble. He's a natural born leader. So my thing on this is that, yes, they're going to take a lot of cap hits over the next decade, but if I'm a player, if I'm a Tyreek Hill, I'm a Travis Kelce, or I'm a up and coming guy from college, and in 5 years I'm balling out, I could be one of the best wide receivers in the game. I'd rather take less money to play with one of the best quarterbacks that I will ever play with and ever see in my lifetime. I'd rather catch touchdowns from him than make my money elsewhere. I will be willing to go to the minimum so I can work with him, because that's how good Patrick Mahomes is.
You made a good point, that, and it reminded me something that I remember. Stephen A. Smith was the one that said it. I think it was the year. It was like Patrick Mahomes' rookie year. You know, when like he actually got on the field and became the starting quarterback.
Yes.
But it was the second year.
Ben Simmons year.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, I remember it was like already a couple games in, and he was already just like, he was balling. Like, the NFL was like, he put the NFL on notice. Like, I'm here, this is my league, like, I'm showing you what I got. And I remember I was watching an episode of First Take right before one of my class I had, and I remember Stephen A. Smith saying that he was talking to multiple Chiefs players, in the like, just like on the side. And that was Alex Smith's last year as a Chief, when he was still on the bench. And I remember Stephen A. Smith saying that he spoke to multiple players on the Chiefs roster that were saying that this kid is something else. Like, he has something in him, like in the locker room, on the practice field. Like, those players already saw something in him that no one else could see, because he obviously wasn't playing, But like, just think of the magnitude of that. How good does it feel to know that, these like veterans and these like extremely talented, because the Chiefs were still good even before Patrick Mahomes stepped on the field. I think a lot of people what's the correct term? They overlooked
Yeah.
Alex Smith. I thought he did great with the Chiefs, but
Pretty good. He was pretty good.
yeah,
I think
but
it
that's
had a lot
besides
to
the
do with
point.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a quarterback whisperer. What do you expect?
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. My point is that just imagine how good of a feeling you get that when you got like your veteran players and your extremely talented players already telling you, "Hey, coach, that kid you drafted last year, there's something with this kid.
Mm-hmm.
There's something special." Like, I mean, yeah, I remember like you saying that right now, kind of just like brought it back to my memory. And
It's
I mean,
so contagious, right?
it's
It just
insane.
makes you
Yeah,
feel good about where you are as a football team, to where
yeah.
you know you have a guy that leads that team, and he's gonna die for you, and he'll do anything to make that team win. Think about how much different it would have been in that game against the Houston Texans in the AFC divisional round,
Mm-hmm.
and down 24-0 at home, literally before the half, and saying
It was the first quarter.
yeah, it was like the first quarter, and then like they went into the second quarter, still down 24-0,
Mm-hmm.
and thinking to yourself like this, like we're out of it, like we're done. If you're a football team that is just kind of used to just getting down on yourself or not feeling like you have a contagious type of feeling in that locker room, it's so easy to be like, look, it's just not our day. Like we can try to come back, but by then,
Yeah.
it's just it's too far, and it's too late to come back. But for
Yeah.
them to not only come back, but to do it before the fucking half, to literally just switch it and just say, no, we got Patrick Mahomes, we're fine. Like we're gonna be fine.
Patrick Mahomes is now becoming that like, oh, you never bet on Tom Brady ever. Now it's him. Like you never bet on Patrick Mahomes ever. You never bet on him. I mean, like that's a perfect example. You go from down 24-0, and you outscore them 51-7 the
Yeah.
rest of the game.
They ran out of fireworks.
How? How do you? Oh, dude.
They ran out of pyro.
Oh man, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Another reason why Bill O'Brien should not be the. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Don't get me upset talking about him. Jesus Christ.
Don't.
Anyway,
We all know.
Anyway, but still,
If you know, you know.
it's Patrick Mahomes, dude. Like I don't know, just please someone argue with us because you're wrong. You're wrong.
All over him right now.
You're wrong, dude.
Like we're getting physical with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
we might as well. I mean, we might as well kiss him.
I wouldn't you?
Oh, I mean, he's a handsome man.
He's a handsome guy.
It's
Yeah.
those curls. It's that curl in his hair.
Like whenever you see him, you're just like, yeah. You know what too? Patrick Mahomes is the guy. I'd be like, yeah, I'd have a beer with Patrick Mahomes. Like he sounds like a really cool guy to hang out with. But if he starts putting ketchup on steak, I don't know about that one. So
Ooh, I mean, yeah, you got to question it at that point.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, but I don't know. I mean, if he's paying for your dinner, I mean,
he would. He would.
He would.
He can. I mean,
I think it was I think it was like LeBron James like tweeted him. He was all like, "Hey man, let me borrow $5 or something like that." Like Patrick Mahomes would be the guy. It's like, here, LeBron, here's 5,000, just cause.
Yeah, bro uses $5 for fucking toilet paper. It doesn't matter.
Oh man.
I mean, yeah, he's just a cool dude, and I think he's one of those guys. You can be all negative as you want, which I've seen on Twitter and I've seen on multiple platforms, but it's nice to give them positive vibes and just be like, that man deserves that money.
Do you want to talk about the king of receiving negativity now?
Yes, Dak Prescott.
Yes,
because
him.
I actually, you know what? I feel like there was more discussion about Dak's contract than there was about Patrick Mahomes' contract.
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how everything always lands? I mean,
obviously, yes, it does really affect Dak Prescott's contract because our whole conversation, and I've said this multiple times, you've said this multiple times, that they need to get that deal done before these other contracts get done. Because the Patrick Mahomes deal, whenever it comes, it's going to fuck it up. And guess what? In a matter of weeks of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs negotiating this deal, it took now up to a year for the Cowboys and Dak Prescott to try to figure out what the contract is going to be.
So, and then now that point that I made the last time we had this conversation, now it's even like it's tenfold now. the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, for people that don't know, it's an NFLPA agreement with the NFL that basically raises the salary cap every single year for every single NFL team. Therefore, each base salary of, like, a high profile player, or just in general, the base salary is going to go up. Dak Prescott next year, if he does not get signed by the Dallas Cowboys, his base salary has to be $38 million.
If he did the franchise tag again.
If he gets the franchise tag. I mean, might as well just give him 40 million. What's the 2 million more? Like, so my point that I made the last time we talked about this is now even more, relevant. You got to do it now. You have to do it now, because frankly, I mean, you're going to have to restructure a lot of contracts in general on the side of the Cowboys next season if you want to get, more players or extend players, because if everything works out with, Dontari Poe, with Gerald McCoy, with
Clint Dix.
I'm blanking out Hawklin Dix, the other lineman that we just signed.
From
I'm
the
blanking.
draft?
Why am I blanking? No, free agency. Or is it? Well, point being, whatever. Those players, if they continue their monstrous career here in Dallas, why wouldn't you want to re-sign them? Or restructure their contracts to give them more money? I mean, everything is falling in place to where something has to happen in this next week, or, man, who the hell knows what's going to happen with Dak Prescott? Who knows?
I mean, like we just talked about it, how it's just like you need to take risk in this league. You need to. And I think as a fan myself, as a Cowboys fan who likes Dak Prescott, because there should be no hatred toward Dak Prescott at all. Like, he reminds me of a young Tony Romo as far as the criticism that he gets, the amount of negativity that he gets.
It's almost identical.
It's
almost identical.
Just because of the fact that he wears the star on his helmet is the fact that he's getting this much hatred. But the sheer fact that you're being stingy about this, and the reason why you're being stingy is because of guys like Patrick Mahomes, like Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson, that are going to have these contracts coming up, and they're going to blow it out of the water with these contract money, or this contract money. It made you say, look, man, if we can just have you for one more year. Like the Chiefs are probably had no fucking, like, argument about, like, look, Patrick, we want you as long as possible. Like, and we've never seen a contract like this. Yet they found a way in a matter of weeks to be like, look, Patrick, we have 2 more years on a contract. You're making shit money there, but we know you're making Adidas money, so don't worry about that. But we want you for another 10 years. And in a matter of weeks, Patrick was like, okay. That's another reason why Patrick Mahomes is just 1 in a million, 1 in a billion type of guy. 1.5 billion, I should say, with the contract. But
nice.
Then you have Dak Prescott, who you can't complain, you can't disagree with it. The man wants his money. He has played 4 years with the Cowboys and has been the most relevant reason why they've been successful. Do not tell me that last year would have been an 8-8 season without Dak Prescott. They would have been 4-12, 5-11. It doesn't matter. They would not have won games without Dak Prescott, who was playing at an MVP level.
We can all attribute it back to one name, and we all know that name. Let's say it together.
Jason Garrett.
Jason Garrett. Let's be real. Jason Garrett has wasted Tony Romo's career.
Yep.
Des Bryant's career.
Keep going.
DeMarcus Ware's career.
Ooh, that one hurt. Hit home.
And technically, now that he retired this season, Travis Frederick's career.
Oh, man. Too soon.
And if you want to make it hurt even more, he's already wasted half of Zeke's career.
Yeah.
Because wait, it's his 4th year now, right?
Yes.
And he's wasted the offensive line's career.
Yes. Jason Wynn's.
Jason Wynn's career as well. Sean Lee. Well, no. Yeah.
Because once he got healthy, he still had like 2 or 3 years.
Yes, that's right. Sean Lee's career as well. He's wasted. I mean, if you want to get super technical, even though he was only there for like 3 years, he wasted DeMarco Murray's career, his prime, Because after he left Dallas, look at him. He didn't do shit.
He's a coach
But
now. He's fine.
well, yeah, he's fine.
Boomer Sooner.
But no, not Boomer Sooner. But still, point being, I don't understand how. I just don't get it. I'll never understand the hate. Well, we do understand. It's because he's the Cowboys quarterback. Every Cowboy quarterback is always going to get the hate, and that's fine. That's what you should expect that when you become the quarterback of the Cowboys. But still, the hate is undeserved. The only year that I will give you that I guess a little bit he deserved was his sophomore slump. But even then, look at the team he had around him. Look at the team he had around him.
You can't tell me that.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
So there's a difference between a sophomore slump for Dak and a sophomore slump for fucking Mitchell Trubisky. There's a huge slump there.
I don't talk about him. He's not a quarterback in my eyes. I'm sorry.
Like, you can't tell me they're the same things as far as slumps.
It's a good point.
But
at this point, why aren't you paying him? Why aren't you paying him?
Well, here's my thing. Is that the reason why I love Patrick Mahomes so much is that not only is he athletically gifted, I mean, he's a God-given gift from heaven, and he's got eyes that just make you melt, and it's just amazing, right? I'm gonna get a little carried away with that, but I think the mental toughness of that guy is probably the most shocking out of all. Like, we know he's a gunslinger, and he wants to have fun, but like, the way that he led that locker room so fast and gained the respect of everybody is the same way I feel about Dak Prescott when he came in as a rookie.
100%.
Especially in a harder situation when you have Tony Romo that has been the face of that franchise for close to a decade and now is taken away immediately because he just couldn't stay healthy. And now Dak, even after the retirement speech that Tony Romo put where he's in tears, Dak Prescott was still like, look, man, this is not my team. This is not my team. This is still Tony Romo's team. I'm just doing my part. To be that humble, to be that respectable, and to be that young, fresh face that is kind of passing the torch on over to, and to do it in such a respectable and a professional way, that's what I love about Dak Prescott. And his mental toughness to be in the spot with all this negativity is amazing to me.
I don't think you can tell me that any other quarterback in the league has more mental toughness than Dak Prescott.
Oh, 100%. I mean, not even close. It should not be that close. And so what I'm getting to is the fact that you're being so stingy about his contract. I don't want to pay Dak $40 million, but I'm kind of needing to because that's where everything is going. So why not be ahead of the curve until let's say next year? Let's say it gets even higher to where now he balled out in his franchise tag and he wants $45 million. He wants $43 million.
It's a fact. It's a fact. If he doesn't get paid this year, you might as well just give him $40 million next year because the base is going to be 38.
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand why. Like we said the last time, it's not Jerry, it's mostly Steven. But still, why isn't it being pulled? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
And really, it's not even about the money. It's not about the money right now. They gave him a 5-year, $175 million extension with how much of it guaranteed? I think it was like $110 million guaranteed. Like around that. It was like just over what Jared Goff did and Carson Wentz. But the reason why they've been disputing it and the reason why it's been prolonged for this long is the length. 5 years. You want him for an extra year? That's why you won't sign him? Well, guess what, motherfucker? The reason why you're in a tougher spot now is because of that. So now you're going to have to pay him probably another 10%, another 15% because you wanted him for one extra year. The dude wants to be a Cowboy. You can't blame him. 4 years for a guy like that. You've had him for 4 years on a rookie contract, and you've wasted 4 years of that contract because you were stingy about a coach. You were stingy about the coaching staff and not wanting to pay players, not wanting to take risk with players. You wanted to be in control. You wanted to be the face of the franchise rather than let them ball out. They balled out without you, but in order to get over that hump, they needed something else. They needed help. So you didn't want to be. You want to be stingy for the last 4 years, and now you want to be stingy again. We're just repeating the same old routine. We're being psychopathic at this point.
Well, I'll even put it to you this way, just to make it a little better. We both here agree that Russell Wilson is better than Dak Prescott
Yes.
for obvious reasons. Yeah. Okay. Now, how is it that everything you just said applies to the Seahawks? Granted, you could say their coaching staff has been obviously better than the Cowboys for about the past 5 to maybe even a decade because of the Legion of Boom. Mm-hmm. But still, point is, if you look at the Seahawks roster versus the Cowboys roster the last 3 to 4 years, it's a pretty good argument that the Cowboys roster has been more talented in general than the Seahawks roster.
Superior
on
paper.
Talent. On paper. On talent, yes. Now, how is it that the Seahawks have already gone through 2 contracts with Russell Wilson and you can't make one with Dak Prescott?
And they have more success in the playoffs than you
do. I don't get it. I don't get it. It blows my mind. Just watch. You know, I will put money down that next year Lamar gets paid, and it's only his 3rd season.
Yeah,
I'll put money. I'll put money down.
Just because for 2 years, where
just because everything seems to work like that. Everything seems to work that. Lamar's probably going to get paid next year. Deshaun for sure is going to get paid next year. He has to.
He's going to New England.
Well, maybe. I wouldn't leave that past it. But still, Deshaun is getting paid next year. Lamar is getting paid next year. I don't get it. I don't get the point. And like you said, that's the perfect example. Now, because you were being stingy, because you didn't want to pay him for 1 more year, or you didn't want to give him the money for that, now you're gonna have to pay an extra $40 million just because you were stingy. Mm-hmm. I don't get it.
It's the same scenario that happened last year.
I don't get it.
You would have gotten him on a contract that was what, $32 to $35 million base salary annual, like average.
And they almost did it.
Week 1, we were having that conversation.
Yes, that game before the Giants. I think it was like Thursday where the report came out that they were about to do it, and they didn't. Yeah. They didn't want to.
And that conversation was, is he the franchise guy? Is he worth it? Guess what? He was basically 3rd or 4th, in my opinion, in the MVP race.
He was technically 4th overall, wasn't he?
Yeah. Because you're not going to give it to a running back, so why not? Yeah. Why put him in the conversation?
It was Lamar, it was Patrick, and then it was Russell, and then
Dak. I thought Russell should have won.
And then it was like Dak or Deshaun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Russell should have like 4 already. It's a joke. I've already said this before. I'm not gonna get into it again. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't understand the situation. The length is obviously the big reason why. We've already talked about this before. We're not gonna get into it again. But even with the length, pay him more. Then pay him more. If you want, pay him. If you want it for that long, pay him more. It's gonna work out in the end. I mean, it's been a consistent trend that he's gotten better every single year. I mean, that sophomore slump, like I said earlier, it's not really on him. But like you said, compared to like Dak's sophomore slump to the quarterback I shall not name. I mean, there's no argument. Like you can't compare it. So
you're not gonna have a franchise guy walk into your facility randomly and just give you Super Bowls. You're not going to get that, and he's going to come in and say, I only want $10 million a year. Like, it's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. No. Like, you're not going to get a guy that's just going to be so giving and just so willing to give up a lot of money, because like it's just not the Patriots. It's not the same organization. Like, you're the Cowboys. If you want to flaunt your money all you want, Jerry, then you better back it up. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought you were supposed to be the guy that takes those risks, that spends all the money, and you want the Cowboys to be on top, yet you don't want to pay the money for it, even though you're worth billions of dollars. Like, take the cap hit. You know, the thing about it as a fan is what I wanted was just change. I wanted Jason Garrett to be gone. I didn't care who it was. You could have brought in Urban Meyer. You could have brought in Lincoln Riley, Mike McCarthy. You could have brought in the bum that's like 2 blocks from my house. You could have put him as the head coach. I don't care, as long as it's something different, as long as it's a change. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to fail if you're giving me something different. I'm tired of failing with Jason Garrett. If I fail with Mike McCarthy, I'm right there with Mike McCarthy because I believe in what he does. I believe in what he's bringing to the table. But I am tired of failing with Jerry Jones, who is just consistently just saying, I'm not willing to take that risk because I don't think it's the best interest of the team. How do you know what's best interest for the team when you've been the laughingstock of the NFL for 20 years, 25 years?
I think it gets to a point where you see 31 other, well, not 31 other teams, because there are some teams that are stuck in their ways as well. But still, you get my point. Like the majority of the teams in the NFL, you see them trying different things. And granted, they fail, but at least they try. At least try. I mean, dude, look, I mean, I know I'm putting examples that are way, way above the Cowboys, but just as an example, I mean, look at the Ravens, dude. The Ravens literally changed their offense for Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Their whole entire offense for Lamar. And look how it worked out. MVP practically went to a Super Bowl. I mean, you know, that playoff thing, we talked about that a couple times already, that he has to fix it, and so do the Ravens. But nevertheless, the Ravens were the most electrifying team in the NFL, all because they were willing to change for their quarterback. I mean, dude, the Browns were a team that went 1-31 in 2 seasons. They switched to another head coach in only 2 years. Jason Garrett was there for 10 years of mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the Freddie Kitchens experiment failed. We all know that. I mean, unfortunately, but still, even after the Freddie Kitchens experiment, they got out and went a new head coach. They fired John Dorsey. Well, I still don't agree with the John Dorsey firing. We talked about this.
He brought some good things to the table.
Yeah, but still, my point is that other teams are trying. Other teams are switching things up, but not the Cowboys. It's never the Cowboys. It's never the Cowboys. And I don't think it's ever going to happen until Jerry Jones just fully steps down.
Yeah, which will never happen.
Which will never happen. And we never wish death upon anybody, so we're never going to talk about that.
No. I'm not going to go that far.
But, you know, it's like the point is made. The point has been made multiple times, even like on big time shows like ESPN and Fox. Like, it's just not going to happen until he fully steps down, whatever way it happens. And I don't know. Am I down for another 20 years of mediocrity? Not really. But do we have a choice?
No.
Apparently not.
No,
apparently
he doesn't care what the fans think. I mean, like, he says he's all about the fans. It's America's team, when really, like, it's Jerry Jones's team. Like, that's all it is. Like, how long did it take for the amount of criticism and scrutiny that we put on Brett Maher to finally not get, you know, another kicker? And then immediately, as soon as we get another kicker, we're fine. Kai Forbath, legend. Love him to death. But it took what, 11 weeks in order to finally get into his head, oh, maybe we should get another kicker.
We technically lost like 2 games because of him.
Yeah, it was the Bears game and the Jets game.
Yes, because he missed 2 field goals the Jets game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they could have come back in that Jets game, and I was like, Brett, you better not miss this. I remember where I was, and I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, oh my God, don't get me started. But when they look in the mirror, dude, when Jerry Jones looks in the mirror and he looks at the Dallas Cowboys, he sees the Patriots. He sees, he thinks he sees a consistent football team with a great coach. As long as it's stable, as long as they know your role, do your job, like, they think they have every little piece, every little detail figured out. But guess what? With the Patriots, it's Super Bowls. With the Cowboys, it's 8-8. So there's a glitch somewhere. There's a little part of it that's not right.
Jerry Jones is not wrong. The Cowboys are stable like the Patriots,
but not in a good way.
But we're not. Let's win every single year. Who's going to win the AFC? The Patriots. Well, I mean the AFC East. Let me rephrase it. Who's going to win the AFC East? The Patriots. Who's going to win the NFC East? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the Eagles look pretty decent. We look decent.
They all look good, but who's gonna shit the bed?
Yeah, the Giants, they always look decent at the beginning,
Who the
but then they
fuck
shit the
knows?
bed. And then the Redskins, I'm not going to say that name.
Reds. Just call them the Reds.
The Reds. Yeah, I'm not going to say that name for obvious reasons. But they're an abomination. But maybe this year might change. Who knows? But in general, yeah, it's literally year after year. And I guess that what I'll leave this topic with is, let's just hope Mike McCarthy can become the next Jimmy Johnson and challenge Jerry Jones. Because it obviously worked when Jimmy did it.
Yeah.
He got fired like 4 years later, but still he won Super Bowls. So, I mean, let's hope. Let's just hope. That's all we can do is hope. But besides the Cowboys, this makes things very exciting for the rest of the league. Because now that Patrick Mahomes has this money, it's going to be very exciting to see which quarterback thinks they're worth that much. Because I like to be very vocal about quarterbacks that don't deserve it.
Oh no.
I would like to see. Let's take a look right now. Let's go down the list.
Well,
Lamar,
Deshaun, and
Russell
are next up, including Dak.
and Dak. They all deserve the good around $35 million range.
Yes.
Now, after that, who are we looking at? Jared Goff until he picks it back up? No.
No, that man's like basically what Blake Bortles became.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of hype. He had a
Matt
good
Ryan?
run.
No.
Matt Ryan's just a tough one, man.
No,
Like
he
you
doesn't.
look at stats. Well, not in the money aspect. Like he doesn't deserve $45 million. Like no. Like
Yeah.
Here's my reasoning is that no other quarterback other than Patrick Mahomes and close Russell Wilson
And close Lamar if he keeps it up.
I don't think so. I don't think Lamar. It's the long-term portion of it to where if it's 10 years, 12 years, like that type of contract, I don't think we'll see that again. I don't think
Because
we'll
of his
see
style.
that. Just because Patrick Mahomes is so young and they know exactly what they're getting out of him.
But Lamar's 23.
Yes, but do you know exactly what you're going to get out of Lamar Jackson right now? Like,
That's very true.
I love Lamar Jackson. I want to see Michael Vick reincarnated. That's what I'm seeing out of this guy. And I'm going to be fascinated on how he does over the next 5 years. But, he still needs a lot of work with his arm. I do believe he has an arm. I just don't know if he knows how to use it yet. I don't know how capable he is to, balance it out with his running ability. Because eventually that running ability is going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
It may be what a Michael Vick was, where he can still do it, but just not to the same extent of what he did in these past 2 seasons.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question then, because there's a lot of, I guess, in football terms, middle-aged quarterbacks in the NFL right now. Let me rephrase it this way. Do you think that we will get a Kyler Murray? Do you think we will get a Joe Burrow if he succeeds? A Tua? A Justin Herbert? A Josh Allen, because out of the 2018 draft, he's the only one that's doing good right now in statistical terms.
What a slow standard.
Yeah. But that's my question. Who do you think is the next quarterback that could possibly reach?
To get that?
Get because
Mahomes money?
Well, because look at it, man. No one freaking deserves it in reality. I mean, the quarterback market's inflated.
Yeah.
No one deserves it in reality, but it's the reality. So I'm very curious to see in these next coming 5 to 6 years who's going to be the next Patrick Mahomes.
In 10 years, it's not going to matter because everyone's going to get that money.
Yeah.
When you really think about it, by then, the salary cap and the revenue brought in by the NFL is just going to be bonkers. It's just not even be close. But, if I were to say, it's sooner rather than later, it would have to be Russell Wilson. But it won't be a 10-year contract because he's getting up there in age a little bit.
It'll be a 6-year?
It'll be a 6-year, and he's just making bank. I mean, he'll probably get most of that guaranteed for sure.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
It'll be kind of like an enhanced version of the Kirk Cousins deal.
Oh, Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, where it could either be fully guaranteed or it's going to be damn close because Russell Wilson's going to bring it.
$84 million guaranteed. Right away. Was it worth it? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, good.
I mean, when it first came out, I was like, this is probably not worth it, but at least it gets you a quarterback in Minnesota.
Yeah. I mean,
they had a window. They had a window to win a Super Bowl.
They did.
They just fucked it up.
They missed it.
Yeah.
They missed it.
That's on them. That's not on Kirk Cousins. Well,
Yeah.
technically it can be, but I mean, you play in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, so it's just hard.
I mean, when you play in a division that has Aaron Rodgers in it, you can't expect to.
I mean, they really had no other choice because who was on the market
Yeah.
that time? Like Blake Bortles? Fuck
Who?
no. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know who that
Man
is.
makes like way more than Dak is right now, and yet he's like on a beach in Los Angeles. Like he hasn't done anything. Yeah, you didn't even know he was in the league.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot he's a backup with the Rams right now.
He's a fucking magician. He's just stealing money. That's why the Rams don't have money, is because it's all going to Blake Bortles.
Imagine. Well, let's be real. No one has ever done goofed. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. Tim Couch was really bad. But still, since Tim Couch, no one has ever done goofed as hard as the Texans had with Brock Osweiler. That was bad. That was
that man.
You don't mention that around the Texans fans, I'm assuming, because that was bad.
Man, it's like you can't bring up anything with the Texans.
Well, because Bill O'Brien.
Oh,
that's why.
It's like a reoccurring theme of some sort.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Russell.
Imagine trading away the best receiver in the league. Couldn't be me, dude.
For a washed up running back and a
couldn't be me.
Throwaway pick.
Yeah. But anyway, no, yes, I agree that Russell Wilson is probably going to be the next one, just because if anybody after Patrick Mahomes right now in the league deserves it, it is Russell Wilson. Mm-hmm. Because he basically, like I said, he is the Seahawks. You can't convince me wrong. If Russell Wilson was not the quarterback of the Seahawks, they would probably be a bottom tier team.
They would.
So I do see Russell Wilson getting it next. After that, like we said, Dak, Lamar.
I take Deshaun. Yeah.
Deshaun
is a better balanced quarterback than Lamar is. Lamar has more athletic ability, and he's
more electric.
He's more electric if he can figure out the arm situation, because they were one of the bottom teams in passing last year.
But Deshaun is just like a safe consistency. Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean, that guy's durable.
Yeah. My man got kicked in the eye and still threw a touchdown. Yeah, my Lord, what a god. I wish.
I mean, he had that big injury, but I mean, he looks fine.
He's looked great ever since then. I mean, yeah.
Just a natural-born leader, too.
You know, maybe once his joke of a head coach leaves, maybe they'll ascend even more than they are.
Don't even wait for that. Just leave.
Oh, please. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That'd be great.
Like if he goes New England, if he goes to where else could he go? That's like a really good place.
I got a hypothetical for you. Big Ben retires and he goes to Steelers.
Ooh.
What do you think about that one? What do you think about that one? Give me your thoughts.
I don't know if he'd win Super Bowls, but it'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, I mean, Mike Tomlin would love to have him.
Oh, Mike Tomlin.
Love to have him.
The most underrated head coach for the past 10 years. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin, like you can put him on the hot seat a few times, but you're like, at the end of the day, he's right for the Steelers.
Mike Tomlin has a track record of being able to literally do something with nothing. And I find that remarkable.
Yeah, last year was a good example of it too. They were dead to rights. And they almost made the playoffs.
He somehow got them to the brink of the playoffs. I mean, incredible head coach. I wish he was ours, to be honest with you.
Oh, but he'd be great.
He'd be great. He would be.
A swagger, like physical football team.
Oh yeah.
With this talent. Oof.
Mm-hmm. Mike Tomlin.
Oh my God! Imagine him like running an offense with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. Oh my God!
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What he can do with Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
A head coach that actually believed in running. Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh man, how long have we been going for, man?
I think we got through like all the topics we needed to talk to, and then we just started fantasizing about what we could be.
I think that's what always happens. Yeah. We're an hour and 5 minutes in.
Well,
that felt like longer, to be honest.
Yeah. Is there anything else that we need to bring up besides the?
You know what I did see, and I would like to end on a really good note.
Okay.
Is Don Terry Poe came out yesterday and kind of
I saw that.
called out Jerry
Yes.
Jones, which I think
Yes.
is amazing.
I did.
Because
Well, Jared McCoy did too last week, didn't he?
Gerald McCoy called him out, Don Terry Poe as well, and
Mm-hmm.
basically them saying like, look, you don't have to be in the forefront of change. You don't have to come out and say, look, I'm all behind my players. Black Lives Matter. Woohoo! The whole spiel. It's very important. I get that. I'm just kind of paraphrasing for now.
Yeah.
But what they have a problem with is that they just feel like he's being very, cautious and just overprotective of what he says. That he's not saying anything at all.
Yeah. I
And-
think that's exactly what happened the first time this whole thing went down.
Yes,
Like 2 years ago.
Like when the kneeling during the national anthem came out, and that week against the Arizona Cardinals, when he said, "We are not going to kneel. We are not going to kneel. Everybody who is on my team, if you kneel, you may not have a job, or I will get you out of the Cowboys." Which,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is the whole reason why this has to happen. Is that when you have a majority of your players from a black community, and they're wanting change, and an old white guy that pays them and is in charge of them, has power over them, says, if you do this, you will not have a job, you will not get your money, even though it has nothing to do with your playing ability, which at the end of the day, football is about your playing ability. Like that's how it should be at the end of the day. But when you say you cannot have a voice, you cannot say what you want to say because you're on my team, that's a very, very skeptical mentality to have in today's society.
Yeah, I agree.
So for Don Terry Poe and Gerald McCoy has done phenomenal things ever since he joined the Cowboys. He has not stepped one foot on a football field, and yet he has done a lot for that community, and he's done a lot for this team.
Gerald McCoy is a rain of sunshine. I love him.
He is. He's such a nice personality, man. Like that's the type of guy that you don't even have a beer with. I'm gonna get you some orange juice or some water. You just don't want to hurt the guy at all. You just feel like that he's that type of guy. I would love to have a conversation with him because he's just a very positive mindset type of guy.
Yeah.
And he's very open about a lot of things because he's seen a lot of things. And for Don Terry Poe to do that as well, who's been in the league for a very long time, who's been with really great organizations, and for him to say look, he didn't say it aggressively, he didn't call him out. He said, look,
it was a very straightforward statement. There's nothing wrong with it.
It's kind of concerning how you our owners, our team, boss is not behind us. He should believe in us. This is a right thing to do. You shouldn't just back away, especially when you have that type of platform. You own an organization that is worth over $5 billion.
Yeah.
And you have done nothing to support us as a community. That kind of questioning is the professional way of doing it. Being very grateful for the situation you're in, to have that voice as a player, but to also hold accountability to a team that's not happening in Washington, that's not happening in other teams around the league. For the Cowboys to have that voice and that platform to where the Cowboys are talked about every single day, and to call out, in a sense, your owner, it's a beautiful thing that I'm seeing for guys that have been on the team for what, a month, 2 months?
Yeah, 4 months now.
Yeah.
I guess the main point that he's just trying to say is that the silence is deafening.
Yes.
And do I think something's gonna happen? Maybe. Will it be to the magnitude that these players want? No. If he didn't do it 4 years ago, why is he gonna do it now?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I hope something happens. I really hope it does because, like you said, say what you want. The Cowboys are the face of the NFL. Let's be real.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you think of the NFL, you think of the Cowboys. You think of the Patriots. You think of, Patrick Mahomes. You think of Tom Brady, So if the face of the NFL were to say something regarding this movement, if the Cowboys say something, why would the rest of the NFL not say anything?
Yeah.
So I get your point. I agree. And like I said, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but do I think it'll happen? I'm just gonna leave it as a maybe. Because if it didn't happen 4 years ago, why is it gonna happen now?
you just want answers as a player, especially for that organization, especially after that week where they said, or where Jerry said, "You're not going to kneel. We're not going to do anything. We're going to respect the flag." Which in that point he basically said he doesn't know anything about the movement or about the reason why they're doing it. And even people now, even players now, owners, coaches, they don't know exactly why the kneeling is important. That's a very ignorant way of looking at it. But what I'm getting at is that in that week, when Jerry said you're not going to kneel, and on that Monday night when the national anthem happened, he kneeled with the players.
Yeah,
which is stupid. I mean, it's hypocritical.
If Drew Brees can come out and publicly mess up, apologize, and then regain the support from his own teammates, I think anything's possible.
But then again, it's Jerry.
Well, it is Jerry Jones,
yes.
But Drew Brees is the face of New Orleans.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, obviously, huge magnitude difference. I get it, but still, I mean, if that can happen,
it's the same. It's the same thing as like the Cowboys, like adapting and changing their ways in order for the betterment of the team. It's like if Jerry Jones just stays silent, then there's nothing to be done. We all know what he feels about this, and that's wrong. Like, that is absolutely wrong. No matter who you are, like, it's not picking a side. It's just acknowledging that this is happening, which is the good thing. Like, get the recognition that it deserves. And if he comes out and says like the same thing that Drew Brees does, then we have something to go with, and he'll get scrutiny and criticism. And by then, hopefully, he realizes what this is all about. That's what's important. He needs to realize what this is all about. It's not about kneeling. It's not about the flag. It's about change. It's about a movement.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what they're asking for. They just want like recognition, acknowledgement that this is a big thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope it happens. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. But yeah. All right. So this is going to do it for episode 147 of the Bubble It Sports Podcast. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us once again.
Thank you for inviting me once again.
Yeah, always. Very good conversation on many topics today. I think this was like one of our best ones for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It really was.
So thank you for all the support and, everything that we've done for the Bubble It Sports Podcast. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. We're on 79 subscribers. Yada, yada, yada. On the road to 100. Please subscribe if you haven't, and, share with your friends, family. Dude, I mean, like some of the videos are popping off. Like,
I noticed. Yeah.
I think we're close to 90 views on one of the videos, and then the one we did with Eddie is one of the highest right now as well.
That was fun. That one was really fun.
That one was really fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully some more to come. Definitely in the next coming weeks with everything coming back. It'll be a lot easier to talk about a lot of other things. If someone gets paid $500 million, then definitely we're going to talk about it some more.
Hey, listen, man. I know you don't watch baseball a lot, but baseball's coming back. I'm a baseball boy. It's up to you, though. It's up to you.
Playoff time, maybe.
Well, playoff time's like in a month because of all this, so not that bad.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, guys, and if you're listening to this on iTunes or the Spotify, make sure to follow the podcast on those platforms and keep track of all the videos and all the podcasts we're going to do later on this week. Another upload with Kevin, probably the next day after this one comes out, so the next episode, but it's going to be a nice little, fun little game we're going to play. So keep that in mind. Make sure to keep track of the YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time on the Bubble It Sports Podcast.
Yeah, hold on. Tell me who's your top 5 quarterbacks right now, dead or alive, huh? And how much do you care about a ring if the best player got carried by the team? Now, would you lose if it